Oh well, thank you so much, Mr. Ta. Well, this particular report is a very terrible report. Well, when we talk about La Republique du Cameroon's things with certain dehumanizing actions and especially genocide against Southern Cameroons, is because there's been several proofs, patterns, and actions showing so. Now, earlier this week, just like you've mentioned, we received the call of a baby that had been illegally abducted and is incarcerated by La République du Cameroon's military in Achatugi, Menemo local government area in Momo County. All right. And a whole lot of incidents happened. Now, we can categorically tell you that Cameroon's military abducts a 3-year-old baby and locks up the child at the colonial at Up Station Bamenda. Well, shocking story that took place in front of a horrified and bewildered population in Achatugi. A truck of colonial military swarmed the village, grabbed a young woman and her 3-year-old child. The reason was time was wrapped around the accusation that she had the child with an Amba boy. Is that enough reason to kidnap a child? Well, the lady explained to them that the child's father died over 2 years ago and even went ahead to show the terrorist military his grave. He showed the terrorist military his grave. Now, Pikin Sue, what can you say about this?
Population understand and if you see as how public ekelebe dem e dey dig dig dis pikin the papa e burying ground. But as wey rain e be dey throway plenty plenty, dis wish pipu dem no be even fit for reach for the coffin. Population sef stand up today and dem start for dey ask am say wetin dis pipu dem dey do am so. And as e dey so my country pipu, we sure say dis plenty plenty shame e be plenty for dem wey dem no fit even stand out for continue so dem turn dey start to dey look na dis pikin im mami. As dem start for dey do dis dirty work so, dem stop am see say dat rain e be dey disturb and pipu be dey overlook look dem. Na wey dem turn am, dem catch na dis pikin, carry dis pikin go. I say dem take me dis pikin go with am for dat side. Dem no even care for how the family e feel.
Well, this woman explained that she met the father, who was an IDP, an internally displaced person, and was doing Bambay, what we know as menial jobs, at the motor park at Sanyere in Achatugi, and they started dating. She got pregnant soon after, and just after the birth of the child, her boyfriend, the father of this child, was killed. The dead boyfriend had told her that he was originally from Nkambe in Donga County, so she knew nobody from his family. When he was killed, nobody even came for his corpse, and so he was buried in Achatugi.
Well, what a lot of people on the internet wondered for the poor woman is how do they expect her to produce the man's family during a war when she doesn't know them and with the man in question being dead? You might think the unprofessional military would care about logic or consider these, but they don't actually. They don't actually consider this woman going through the loss of the person who she loved dying and being able or unable to get a means of livelihood to deal with the harassment and leave her alone at this point. But no, that being very unpeculiar with the terrorist military, they only went ahead to extort every dime from this woman down to her last penny.
Well, the impunity of their actions, knowing they will not be questioned, instead, backed up by the genocidal leadership of the French Cameroon, is what should be looked into. True to their nature, the corrupt military asked the lady if she had any money on her. She told them all she had in the world after her petty trading was just 24,000 francs CFA. And guess what? They took all of it from her.
Well, if you thought they had done the worst to this woman at this point, then you certainly know nothing about La République du Cameroon's terrorist military because not only was she harassed and threatened, already dead husband's grave she was trying to get over committed in front of her. The extortionate military took the money and still baby.
Country pipu dem dey take dis woman the pikin so, tell dis woman say the only way wey go see pikin na if you go show dis pikin e papa e family pipu dem. Country pipu dem dis one dem dey do am so na only for show wicked. Dis one e don show say dis republic pipu dem dey no like we Ambazonian pipu dem for no way. Dat mean say even small pikin for dat age sef dey no even care nothing. Dat pikin na 3 years old pikin and nothing no concern republic ekelebe for how dem dey treat the pipu dem and dis small small pikin any kind of way wey dem like am so. Country pipu dem we go give pass again make we head boy for undaunted news make e open the palava book am una for the fine fine way wey una go hear am.
Yeah, the good news about that report is that the child was released few hours after Kemi Ashu and activists took it on Facebook. When they took it on Facebook, La République du Cameroon had no choice, but the colonial army or gendarme who illegally abducted this baby returned the baby to the mom. These are some of the terrible things we are going through, and you would agree with me that these are some of the challenges that Secretary Zama and the boys are facing on the ground. Please, Secretary Zama, talk to us.
It's not uncommon. In Yaoundé, I think there was a case in Yaoundé over the internet where a mother was arrested for having stolen a phone from somebody. This lady had, I think, a 6-month-old baby with her, and they took the child with her to jail. And it became an issue, and the commissioner said he did not know about it and everything else. But the woman has stayed in jail for 3 days with the baby. So Cameroon is a country, it's a lawless country. Everybody makes their own rule when they see fit and when they see it. But that's the animal we are fighting, and it's commonly said that if you have to kill a beast, you have to become a beast to do that too, because the way they are doing the things in Ambazonia, if we have to fight the way our culture has taught us, we will lose this war. So we have to morph like they are. And that's what we've been doing. And that's how we can go toe to toe with these soldiers and go back home while they go back home in their caskets and in their numbers. And that's not going to stop. For those that are blown and if they have to become fertilizer in our fields, so be it. But the banality, what made me to come into this fight is where they dumped this child, I think somewhere in Batibo or Kenbom area, and doused this kid in a boiling oil and scolded the kid to death. That's what turned me on, and I said, oh, I'm all in when it comes to this fight. They are doing that, and they are doing that. They are stealing children, even though children who live from IDPs in Eastern Cameroon, they do adopt them and have them as slaves. So we are telling our people to be mindful who they are letting living around them, who are taking care of their kids, and who they deal with, because it's so much lawlessness in East Cameroon. We have people who've worked in Bamayo for 7 years. They've never been paid, and when they asked for their payment, they were beaten to death. So we have an animal that we have to deal with. We have to contain it. And our soldiers and our civilian population, we are asking everybody to be vigilant. We are asking everybody to contribute to this fight. You don't have to be a foot soldier in the fight. You can contribute with intelligence. You have your telephone that you can call people and let them know where the enemy is heading and how many of them are there. And only together we can fight this fight. We cannot let the enemy put a wedge between a civilian population and the ARFs or the North-South divide that they are trying to make. They've done that for 56 years. It hasn't really worked. For the idiots that are believing like Bela Muki and Moja Moja is a legitimate military target. He's a military person. So anywhere that we can find him, he should be taken down like any beast that could. We do have pit bulls that when they bite somebody, it's shot dead. This man has killed so many Ambazonians, and we are still looking for ways to get him, and he'll be had. It's just a matter of time. He thinks he's safe when he goes around in armored cars. But that day is coming, and he is on the top list, and he'll be dealt with. Um, and those people who are calling for other Ambazonians to be killed because they are from the northern zone or southern zone, or because they are Muslim or because they are Christian, we have transcended that. And the thing that has happened in Manfe, it's a clarion call for everybody that this is the time to put on your armor. The song, like they say in churches, all Christian soldiers, put on your arm and be ready for the fight. We are fighting, and we are recruiting as many people into this fight as possible. And we are asking for you to contribute towards the soldiers, asking for you to contribute towards intelligence, because the soldiers themselves cannot fight this war. Those donors who are contributing to this to keep peace at home cannot do it. All of us have to have our own contribution towards this fight.
That's amazing there. Barrister Fru, please.
Yes, this child's case and the mother should be well documented by the LGA of minimum and sent directly to the interim government so that the Ambazonian genocide library can be updated, just like the case in Manfe will be sent and is well documented. It is against international law to capture a toddler, put a toddler in detention during war. My God. My God. What do they think they have done? Well, I am not surprised, because Cameroon is a lawless society, it's a lawless country. There is a power vacuum in Yaoundé. Even if there was, he is the same guy, the warlord who declared war on the Ambazonian people. He's going to smell the coffee. He may not live to smell the coffee, but his collaborators will. This child's case and the attempted exhumation of a dead body in Menemo during wartime it's a crime against humanity. And all that will be documented. The LGA should help us document that case and send the report directly to the interim government, and our director of archives will document it in the Ambazonian Genocide Library.com. Having said that, I want to advise our people: do not allow your child to be taken by anybody. Do not allow your child to be taken by anybody under any circumstances. They took this child from Achatugi, passed through Mbengwe, right up to Bamenda Station. My God, a toddler like this, and during war. I don't know what to say other than that it's a war crime, and we're going to follow it up. Thank you.
Barrister Ambessa, please, quickly, so we can get into the main
Yes,
subject today.
it's a war crime. But before we define the war crime into it, we have to look back at where we are coming from. See, some of us don't know, but it's a fact. In Cameroon, there's a good market for children to be sold privately. They steal them from hospitals, they sell them. There's also a good market for human organs. So we don't know what these people intended to do. If they dug this grave and found this guy's bones, which we never speak anyway, who knows? That was a good market for them. If the population had not risen and shouted, who knows? This child might have been sold alive to somebody else, trafficked, or killed and the organs sold. This is a reality in Cameroon. The only mistake the people of that community made was that it was not enough to stop them from digging the grave. They would have behaved like the Ekona woman who moved to Boya and said, "You release our people." They would not have allowed those people to move away with that child. So this is a crime beyond description. But this is not the first time. See, this is a living child. A few months ago, the Valley military arrested a pregnant woman in Boya, not in the war front, in her house. And she remained in jail for 8 months and gave birth there. She was tried by some Cameroonians. And of course, where is Boya? Boya is where Mola Belamoki comes from. We never heard a word from him. What is Boya? Boya is where Mosonge comes from. He's supposed to be the chairman or president of the bilingualism, whatever thing. We never heard a word from them. So, how do these people sleep at home and want to terrorize the terrorists? They don't want to talk to people who kidnap children, who kidnap pregnant women for their own reasons, extort money from them. Yes. We'll go back to Igweko again once more to put an end to this. Igweko is in Mamfe. Mamfe is where Tabe Tando comes from. He's the first vice president of the Senate. And even taking their own story, if their version were ever to be true, if they were village inter-village fighting. May I remind Mbela Moki and Mosonge that none of those villages that purportedly fought with people in the Buako was from the northern zone. They were not Graffiti people. If they were ever such a thing, they were people of the Southwest, where Mbela Moki is the senator of the Southwest, where Tabe Tando is the senator of the Southwest. So where were you when all these things were happening in your own backyard? Again, Balsanso has said, I don't think anybody will need to say it more. It is a war crime beyond description. And again, the communities, the individual woman whose child is adopted may not have the power to confront 5 armed men. But a group of 10 unarmed women shouting and crying out will shame the guy and will run away. So don't let any of your children from your community be taken out of your view. If you notice that, then let them take them and then release. No, they should release the child right there. Nobody is bigger than a crowd. After all, women die in child delivery. So if you are protesting at the kilo, there's nothing new. You are protesting for your own child. If they're shooting you because they are taking away your children, that's worth death. That's worth the pain. So all Ambazonians be aware. In Cameroon, that will know, there's a big market for human trafficking. They traffic children. They traffic organs. They traffic human remains. And who knows? Who can guarantee me that these soldiers, these criminals, are not part of the deal? Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, right there. I would say that these soldiers, this is what we grew up seeing. Like we rightfully said in 2017, right in front of the headquarters in Yaoundé, that they're acting exactly like forces of occupation in Ambazonia. You would imagine that a trained soldier has the audacity to even inflict pain on a toddler because supposedly the toddler's father is associated with Ambazonia. And after investigation, it was just some falsehood. Now we're wondering, was this guy just trying to extort money? Because according to reports, he was asking for pay. Now, even if this young or this toddler's father was associated with Ambazonian restoration forces, which isn't the case, it is in total contradiction of even the laws of the colonial laws in Cameroon, which are not even respected by the colonialists themselves. So it is an apology that our people will be subjected to such heinous crimes against humanity. Now we're getting into something very interesting today, which is we're going to conclude with what is happening in Boya, where students are crying foul of a colonial military actually.
The UN, the UN.
Now we're going to get into the UN, but we'll conclude on, I'm just briefing our audience to know the things we're going to talk on.